Hello my dear students, today I am going to teach you about chemical equations. Okay, so in activity 1.1 we studied that when a magnesium ribbon is burnt in oxygen, it gets converted to magnesium oxide. So as we can see that this description of a chemical equation in a sentence is quite long. That means if we have to explain a chemical reaction, we have to write a complete sentence. So it is very cumbersome for us. So it can be written in a shorter form. Now what is that shorter form? That shorter form is word equation. So what is a word equation? The short form of a chemical reaction in which the names of the reactant and product are used is called a word equation. That means instead of writing the whole statement, we just write the name of the elements or compound that we are using in a chemical reaction. So in activity 1.1 we studied that when the magnesium ribbon is burnt in oxygen, it forms magnesium oxide. As you can see that we are only using name of the elements and compounds here. So such type of equation is called the word equation. Okay, so the substance that undergo a chemical change in the reaction are called reactant. That means the substances which are taking place in a chemical reaction, they are called reactant. Like here magnesium and oxygen are reactant. The new substance is magnesium oxide formed during the reaction as a product. That means whatever the new substance is formed, that is called the product. So in this case the magnesium oxide is the product. So word equation show the change of the reactant to product through an arrow placed between them. So whenever we write reactant and product, we put an arrow in between them. The reactant are written on the left hand side with a plus sign between them. Reactant are always written on the left side with plus sign if it is more than one. Similarly, the product are written on the right hand side with plus sign. Here it is only one product, so we are not putting any plus sign between them. The arrowhead point toward the product and show the direction of the reaction. Here the arrowhead is toward the product. Always the arrowhead is put towards the product. Okay, and it will always show you the direction of the reaction. That means in which direction the reaction is proceeding. Our next topic is writing a chemical equation. Is there any other shorter way of representing a chemical equation? That means they are asking, can we write, always have to write the word equation for any reaction? No. The chemical reaction can be made more precise and useful if we use the chemical formula instead of word. That means what we have to use? We have to use the chemical formula instead of the words. A chemical equation represent a chemical reaction. That means whenever we write a chemical equation, it will always represent a chemical reaction. So first we have to understand what is a chemical equation. So what is a chemical equation? The shorthand method of representing a chemical reaction in terms of symbols and formulae of different reactant and product is called a chemical equation. So what is a chemical equation? It is a shorthand method. That means it is even shorter than the word equation of representing a chemical reaction. That means chemical equation represent a chemical reaction in terms of symbols and formulae of different reactant and product. Now why they are saying symbols and formulae? If it is an element, then we will only use the symbol of that element here, like it is magnesium and oxygen. But sometime it can be a formula like the magnesium oxide. So we have either used symbol or formula of different reactant and product. That means the reactant and product can be present on the symbol and the formula can be present on either side of the equation. Okay, so now we have written this equation, Mg plus O2 give MgO. Now they are saying count and compare the number of atoms of each element on left hand side and the right hand side of the arrow. Is the number of atom of each element same on both the sides? Here you can see that magnesium is 1, magnesium is 1. But here oxygen is 2 and here oxygen is only 1. So they are saying if yes, then the equation is balanced. But here this is not the case. So if not, then the equation is unbalanced because the mass is not same on both side of the equation, because as the number is different, so mass will also be different. Such a chemical equation is a skeletal chemical equation. So this is a skeletal chemical equation. They are saying equation 1.2 is a skeletal chemical equation for burning of the magnesium ribbon. But we also know what are the definitions of a balanced and a balanced chemical equation and unbalanced chemical equation. So what is an unbalanced chemical equation? Such an equation in which the number of atoms of different element is not equal on two sides of the equation is called unbalanced chemical equation. Here you can see that the number of atoms are different on both sides of the equation. So it is an unbalanced chemical equation. Now what is a balanced chemical equation? Such an equation in which the number of atoms of each element on two sides of the equation are equal, it is called a balanced chemical equation. Suppose we have to make this equation balanced. So what we have to do here, we can see magnesium 1, here magnesium is also 1, here oxygen is 2, here oxygen is only 1. So if I put 2 here, okay, now magnesium will also become 2, that means I have to put 2 here. Now this unbalanced or skeletal chemical equation has converted into a balanced chemical equation. Next question is, why do we need to balance a chemical equation? As we know, according to the law of conservation of mass, mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. That is, the total mass of the element present in the products of a chemical reaction has to be equal to the total mass of the element present in the reactant. That means on both the sides the mass should be equal, but that is only possible if the number of atoms are same on both sides of the equation. So in other words, the number of atoms of each element remain the same before and after the chemical reaction. That means whenever a chemical reaction occurs, before the chemical reaction and after the chemical reaction, the number of atoms must be equal. Hence, we need to balance a skeletal chemical equation. Is the chemical equation 1.2 balanced? So, I have already shown you that equation 1.2, that was an unbalanced equation. Let us learn about balancing the chemical equation step by step. So, the word equation for the activity 1.3 may be represented as, now what was the activity 1.3? We have to take some zinc granules and then put them in a flask and then put some sulfuric acid in that. Then what will happen? Zinc will react with sulfuric acid and form zinc sulfate and hydrogen. So, if we write, this is a word equation for the activity 1.3. So, the above word equation may be represented by the following chemical equation. Now, zinc, symbol for zinc is Zn. What is the chemical formula of the sulfuric acid? It is H2SO4. Then it is zinc sulfate. Formula for the zinc sulfate is ZnSO4. Then hydrogen is H2. So, now we will see whether the number of atoms are equal on the two sides or not. Okay. So, see here. We will make the 3 column element, number of atom of the atom in the reactant side and number of atom in the product side. Then we'll write the element. So on the left hand side zinc is 1 and on the right hand side also zinc is 1. Hydrogen, here hydrogens are 2 and on the right hand side also hydrogens are 2. Then sulfur, here it is only 1 sulfur, here also it is only 1 sulfur. Next is oxygen, here are 4 oxygen and here these are again 4 oxygen. So we can see, as the number of atoms of each element is same on both sides of the arrow, it is a balanced chemical equation. That means this equation is a balanced chemical equation. Now we will try another equation which is Fe means iron plus H2O. Remember, here H2O is taken in the form of steam. So when iron react with water, it will form Fe3O4 plus H2. Now remember, Fe3O4 is not a compound. It is actually a mixture of FeO and Fe2O3, which is known as ferroxide or magnetic oxide of iron. Now it is made up of two compounds, which is FeO, which is ferrous oxide, and Fe2O3, which is ferric oxide. Now we have to balance this chemical equation. You can easily see here iron is 1 here, irons are 4, 1 oxygen, 4 oxygen, 2 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen. So iron and oxygen are not balanced here. So there are some steps that we have to follow when we are balancing a chemical equation. So the step 1 is to balance a chemical equation. First, draw the boxes around each formula. So here you can see that they have drawn the boxes. Do not change anything inside the boxes while balancing the equation. That means you cannot change anything inside the boxes. You just have to put all these elements and compound inside the boxes. Now step 2, list the number of atoms of different elements present in unbalanced equation. So here we can see that there are 3 elements, iron, hydrogen and oxygen. So we have written all the 3 elements here. Now we will see how many of them are present on left and the right hand side of the equation. Iron here 1, so we have written 1 here, 3 iron, so we have written 3, hydrogen 2, 2, hydrogen 2, 2, oxygen 1, oxygen 4. So now what is the next step? It is often convenient to start balancing with the compound that contain the maximum number of atoms. That means we will always start with the element which has the maximum number of atom. Here we can see that oxygen has the maximum number of atom on the right hand side. So we will start with the oxygen. It may be reactant or a product. Okay? That means you can take either reactant or product. It can be present on either side. In that compound, select the element which has the maximum number of atom. Here our atom is oxygen. You can see that. So we have to first balance the oxygen. Using these criteria, we select Fe3O4 and the element oxygen, because here you can see that in Fe3O4 oxygen number is 4, which is maximum. So there are 4 oxygen atom on the right hand side and only one, there are 4 oxygen atom on the right hand side and only one on the left hand side. So to balance the number of atom, we will multiply the H2O with 4, because there already 4 oxygen atoms are present, but here it is only one oxygen atom. So we will multiply H2O with 4. So to equalize the number of atom, it must be remembered that we cannot alter the formula of the compound or element involved in the reaction. That means whenever you are putting 4, you have to put 4 here, not you cannot put 4 at the subscript of the oxygen, because you cannot change the chemical formula of a compound. For example, to balance the oxygen atom, we can put the coefficient 4 as 4H2O, not H2O4, because if we write H2O4, we are changing the chemical formula of the compound, which is not possible, because compounds are always formed according to their valences or their proportion. So you cannot change that. Now the partially balanced equation become, so this is our partially balanced equation. We have balanced the oxygen atom here. Okay. Now as we can see that oxygen is balanced, but iron and hydrogen atom are still not balanced. So we will pick any of these elements to proceed further. Here we will take hydrogen to be balanced. Here we can see that the hydrogen are 4 to the 8, but here hydrogens are only 2. That means we have to put 4 here to balance the hydrogen atom. So you can see that we have put the 4 here to balance the hydrogen atom. Now we are left with only iron to be balanced. So now how we will balance the iron? You can see that here the iron atoms are 3, but here it is only one iron atom. So what we will do? We will put 3 here. So when we put 3 here, the iron atoms are also balanced. So now we can see that the number of atoms of element on both sides of the equation are equal. So this equation is now balanced. So this equation is now representing a balanced equation. This method of balancing the chemical equation is called hit and trial method. So this method is hit and trial method. Now why it is called hit and trial? Because we make trials to balance the equation by using the smallest whole number coefficient. Now we will proceed to the step 7. Before we proceed to the step 7, there is a question That question is how we can make a chemical equation more informative. So in this particular topic we will study how we can make an equation more informative. Okay, so the first thing is by mentioning the physical states of the elements or compound whatever we are using. So they are saying carefully examine the above balanced equation 1.9 which we have already balanced. Does this equation tell us anything about the physical state of each element or each reactant and product? No, it is not giving any information. No information has been given in this equation about their physical state. So what will be our first step to make a chemical equation more informative? Our first step is by mentioning the physical state of reactant and product, okay, along with the chemical formula. That means wherever their chemical formula is written, we will just put their physical state. So as you can see, gaseous, liquid, aqueous, solid state of reactant and product are represented by G, L, AQ and S. That means for gas it is G, liquid it is L, aqueous AQ and solid S. The word aqueous is written if the reactant or product is present as a solution in water. That means whenever you dissolve any component or any compound in water, then that will be called aqueous solution, not liquid. Okay, so that we have to remember. So our balanced equation was 3Fe plus 4H2O give Fe3O4 plus 4H2. As you can see, they have put, now iron we will take in solid state, water I have already told you that here we have to take it in the gaseous form. Gaseous form means in the form of steam. Then it will form Fe3O4. I have already told you that it is a mixture of FeO and Fe2O3. So it will be in the solid form. Next we have the hydrogen gas 4H2. It will also be present in the gaseous form. Note that the G is used with the H2O to indicate that this reaction water is used in the form of steam. I have already told you that. Usually the physical state are not included in a chemical equation unless it is necessary to specify them. That means we will not always write this physical state, we will only write these when it is required. Now we will come to the second point, how we can make a chemical equation more informative. Second is by mentioning the reaction conditions such as temperature, pressure, catalyst, etc. That means what are the reaction condition, at what temperature, at what pressure, or which catalyst is being used in the reaction. So as you can see, and these reaction conditions are mentioned above or below the arrow that we put in between the reactant and product. So here you can see that they have taken CO, which is carbon monoxide. We will react it with hydrogen and it will form CH3OH, which is methanol. How these names are written, name of these elements are written, that you will study in 4th chapter. So here the reaction conditions are 340 atmospheric pressure, 300 degrees Celsius temperature, and ZNO plus CrO3. It is our catalyst for the reaction. Now the question arises, what are catalysts? So what are catalysts? Catalysts are, it is a chemical substance which alter the speed of a chemical reaction without being consumed during the reaction and recovered chemically unchanged at the end of the reaction. So it is a substance which alter the speed. Alter means it can either increase the speed or decrease the speed. Sometimes if the reaction is very fast, we have to decrease its speed to observe it, and sometimes the reaction is very slow and we don't have that much time to complete the reaction. So in that case we will speed up the reaction. So it will alter the speed. That means it can either increase or decrease according to the situation without being consumed during the reaction. So it is not consumed in the reaction and recovered chemically unchanged at the end of the reaction. That means when the reaction is completed, you will just recover that catalyst as it is. It will not being getting used in your reaction. Now third step, how we can make a chemical equation more informative. The third step is by mentioning the concentration of acid or base, whether it is dilute or concentrated. As the concentrated acid or base react faster than the dilute one. So we can, the third step is we have to mention the concentration of acid or base, whether we are taking a dilute acid or base or concentrated acid or base, because the rate of reaction of a strong acid or concentrated acid is faster than the weak one. Now we have the fourth method to make our chemical reaction more informative. So what is the fourth method? By mentioning the heat exchange during chemical reaction. That means whether the chemical reaction is exothermic, that means exothermic means heat is released, that means in that reaction heat will be released, or endothermic, that means heat is absorbed during that reaction. So in activity 1.3 we have reacted the zinc with H2SO4. So when Zn react with H2SO4, it forms ZnSO4 plus H2 plus heat, that means in this reaction heat will be released. I told earlier also that when you touch the beaker or container in which this reaction is being proceed, the container will become hot. Why? Because this reaction is exothermic. Exothermic means heat is being released. Next reaction is calcium carbonate on heating form calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Now this reaction is endothermic. That why? Because heat is provided to break down calcium carbonate to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So this is all for our today's